Good afternoon. It is cold, and I mean cold. It's May the 30th, Memorial Day weekend, and yesterday was colder, and it's 49 degrees right now. I can't believe it. And I heard something on the TV about it being a record breaker in certain localities. Anyway, I'm keeping her out here in the cold. She's keeping me warm, right? Hey, you probably want to go in, don't you? Oh. Anyway, in an earlier video, I promised to make a video about showing the difference between male and female persimmons flowers, and something that we need to really know the difference between, because I'm a very, very strong believer in pollinators. I believe that a male pollinator is essential if you want a large crop of superior persimmons. Not with the Japanese, not with purely Japanese persimmons. Although with purely Japanese persimmons, you do have to have another Japanese pollinator to have a better crop. But especially with the crosses between the American and Japanese persimmons, where I think a lot of the nurseries are really giving a misservice. They're misdirecting people by suggesting that you don't need a pollinator if you have certain types of American persimmons that are modified American persimmons, and or if you have the crosses between a Japanese and an American persimmons. And they say often, I noticed, that you don't really need a pollinator. They're self-pollinating. Yeah, they kind of are. They are, but they're not. Okay, it's not really true. And if you want to get the very best crop that you possibly can, have a male persimmons tree in your yard. So I'm going to demonstrate here what the differences are between male flowers and female flowers. Okay, it's not too difficult. Here we have a cross. This is Nikita's gift, and I want to show you just how prolific this tree is. I'll get my hand in here for a reference, size reference, but you can see the flowers, and the whole tree is just completely loaded with an abundance of fruit. Hundreds, thousands of fruits, and it truly is, without an exaggeration. There's so many fruits on this tree, and they will all get ripe. Just so many fruits. This particular tree doesn't drop off fruit. Now, I may pick some off, and that's not a bad idea all the time. Sorry, it's a bee. Wow, look at that. Right there next to my finger. I believe it is. Yes, it is. Anyway, it might not be a bad idea to thin these out because there are so many. And let's take a look at what we're seeing here. Okay, here you see a persimmons that will ripen. It's a female persimmons tree, and the flowers are bigger than the males, which I'll show you in a minute. You can see there's another size reference. Also notice that in every node there's a fruit. Let's get these out of the way here. Let's go down here. I guess we could do it. In every node there's one flower. But that's the tell right there. If there's one flower, and it's a little larger than the males, a lot larger actually, and if there's one, but not two or three sprouting from the node, then we know it is a female tree. If in these nodes you had two or three, sometimes there's one, but many times there's more, that's a dead giveaway that it's a male persimmons tree. So this one is obviously and absolutely a female tree, and all of these fruits will pollinate. And the reason why they all will is because I have male trees I'm going to take a walk over here. These are female trees too, and all of these will pollinate. And there's a male there with a female next to it. These are female. These will all pollinate. You see, once again, the size and one from each node. That's what you're looking for. Well, let's go over and take a look at a large male tree I have right there. Take a look at some beautiful fig trees that are growing here. We'll go over. I put in my garden a time ago, and it's growing very nicely. Although the weather has been so miserable and cold, I've got to get my tomato poles in. Here's my cucumbers. I still have to put eggplant in and a few other different plants. I put peppers in over there and Swiss chard. Here's some mint, and there's zucchini growing very nicely. The tomatoes are doing fine. I've got to get the poles in soon. Okay, let's take another look here at a persimmons tree. It's a big tree, and I'm going to climb this ladder so I can get a good view here for you. The farmer has plowed the field, and looks like he planted soybean this year. It hasn't begun to sprout yet. It's too darn cold. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, these are male flowers, and you can see, for size reference, my hand as compared to the female flowers. And notice how you have several, very often, coming from the node. You see here? Look at that. There's two. There's a couple there. I'm looking through my phone, so I can't see too well, but I can see there's far more than one. Here again, for a better view, just look it over. You can examine it yourself. You can see that sometimes there's one, but very often there's more than one. And that's the giveaway. There's some more here. And some more here. And you see there's several coming from the node. And if you know that, you know the difference between a male and a female persimmons. And why do you want to know that? Because you absolutely, in my opinion, for what it's worth, want to have a male tree like this. Because this male tree will guarantee that your persimmons trees will produce more fruit of higher quality. And that's my experience, and it took me a long time to figure that out on my own, because many, many, many years ago, well over 20, probably 20, 23, 25 years ago, I bought a tree. I had American persimmons in the yard, but I bought this tree. And I bought it from a nursery, of which I will not name. It's huge. It's probably easily 30 foot tall, more than that. It's gigantic. Look at this. Look at that. It's huge. Check it out. And for the first 6-7 years, I'm a bit embarrassed to admit, and that was 25 years ago, I guess. 23, 25 years ago. So for the first 5 or 6 years, maybe 7, I can't remember exactly, I didn't get many fruit. And I kept reading, the advertisement in the magazine where I bought it, and it said self-pollinating, no need to have a pollinator. Finally, I started to read other literature, and I put it together myself too that I didn't believe that anymore. And I thought it would be best to put in a male tree. And so I did. Wow, what a difference. I started getting thousands of fruits. Thousands. And you can look back at my earlier videos and you can just see how prolific this tree is too. Those are those female fruits. All these will pollinate. And you can see one from every node again. And there's thousands on this tree and they're all get ripe. All of them. And so I quickly understood and I haven't forgotten that I needed to plant, and I didn't just plant one, but I planted 3 male trees in my yard. And I noticed too when I bought the crosses, the Nikita's Gift and the Rosianka, the 2 most popular, I think maybe the only. I don't know, I've heard that there are a few others now, but crosses between Japanese and American persimmons, I realized that they were not pollinating, they were not fruiting very well either until the male pollinator, the male tree was planted. And then I started getting far, far more fruit. So you want to put a male tree, if you have the room, put a male tree. Now if you have a male tree in the next neighbor's yard or down the street and not too far away, it's possible. I've even read articles where they say if it's a quarter of a mile away, but I don't believe that. I believe that you need to have one close by to really guarantee a superior crop. So with that, I'm not going to make this video any longer. It's too darn cold. My hands are frozen and I'm frozen. So I'm going to go in and grab some hot coffee. I hope you enjoyed that information. Thank you for visiting. Good day.